stop. Before you pick up a brush this morning, look at your hairline in the mirror for just 1 second. If your hair looks thin at the roots but somehow puffs up, frizzes, and floats away from your head by the afternoon, I need you to hear this. Your hair is not the problem, and you are almost certainly not going bald. Fine hair that puffs is one of the most misunderstood problems after 60, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why it happens, and the 5 things you're doing every single morning that quietly make it worse. Here's the part that stops women in their tracks. Fine and puffy sound like opposites. How can hair be thin and flat at the roots, yet frizzy and swollen through the middle and ends at the very same time? It feels like a contradiction. It isn't. Your hair puffs precisely because it is fine and because it has quietly gone dry. After 60, your scalp produces far less oil than it did at 40. Less oil means the outer layer of every strand, the cuticle, lifts up instead of lying flat and smooth. A lifted cuticle catches the light wrong, grabs every bit of moisture out of the air, and floats. Add to that years of tight styling and heat, which leave you with short broken strands standing straight up at the crown like a halo, and you get the worst of both worlds. Thin exactly where you want fullness, and puffy exactly where you want smooth. Once you truly see that, everything changes, because the fix was never a thicker head of hair. It was 5 small changes you can start tonight. And stay with me, because the 5th mistake on this list is the one that decides whether the other 4 even work. Get that last one wrong, and nothing else I tell you today will hold past lunchtime. Before we start, if you find just one fix here that helps, do me a small favor and tap subscribe, because this is the first in a short series I'm building on fine hair after 60, and I don't want you to miss the rest. Number 5. The volumizing shampoo. Number 5. Stop reaching for that volumizing shampoo. I know. It's the one bottle on the shelf that promises fuller, thicker hair with the word volume printed right there on the front. Here's what nobody tells you. Most volumizing formulas work by stripping every trace of oil off the hair, so each strand feels lighter and lifts more easily. On young, oily hair, that's fine. But your scalp is already running dry, which means you are washing the last bit of moisture out of hair that had none to spare. And dry hair does not lie flat. Dry hair lifts, frizzes, and floats. It puffs. The very bottle you bought to fix thin hair is quietly manufacturing the puff you can't stand. Picture this. You wash on Sunday morning, and by Tuesday afternoon your ends are swollen and fly away while your roots have already gone flat. That is not your hair failing you. That is the shampoo doing exactly what it was designed to do. The fix is simple. Switch to a gentle, sulfate-free, moisturizing shampoo. And this part matters just as much. Wash only 2 or 3 times a week, not every single morning. Let your scalp hold on to the small amount of oil it still makes, because that oil is what weighs the frizz down and gives you smooth, controlled fullness instead of dry, floating puff. Make just this one change and you will feel the difference in your ends within 2 washes. But this is only step 1. And the next mistake is one you probably made within 60 seconds of stepping out of the shower this morning without ever suspecting it. Number 4. The towel. Number 4. Stop drying your hair by rubbing it with a towel. Almost every woman I've ever worked with does this on autopilot. You step out of the shower, you grab the towel, and you scrub your head back and forth like you're drying a wet dog. I understand it, it's fast, it's habit, it's what your mother did, but for fine hair after 60, it is one of the most damaging 30 seconds of your whole day. Here's why. Wet hair is at its most fragile and the cuticle is already raised when it's wet. When you rub a rough terry cloth towel over it, you are dragging against that open cuticle, roughing it up in every direction, and snapping the finest, weakest strands clean in half. Those snapped strands are the short, wiry pieces that later stand straight up at your crown and create that fuzzy halo of frizz. And here's the part that matters if you're worried about shedding. A lot of the hair you see left behind on the towel is not falling out from the root at all. It is breaking, mid-strand, from exactly this kind of handling. That's not hair loss. That's mechanical damage, and it is completely in your control. The fix costs you nothing. Swap the rough towel for a soft cotton t-shirt or a microfiber towel, and instead of rubbing, gently squeeze and press the water out, section by section. Blot. Don't scrub. It takes maybe 30 seconds longer, and it protects the smooth cuticle that keeps your hair calm, controlled, and full instead of frayed and puffy. Now, the next mistake happens while your hair is still damp, and it's responsible for more breakage than almost anything else on this list. So don't go anywhere. Number 3, the brush. Number 3, stop dragging a regular brush through your hair, wet or dry. This one surprises people every time because brushing feels like basic grooming, the most harmless thing you do all day. For fine hair after 60, it is anything but harmless when you do it wrong. Start with wet hair. I told you, wet hair stretches and snaps easily. When you take a stiff bristle brush and rake it down from the roots through a tangle, you are stretching each strand to its breaking point and tearing straight through the knots, ripping out hair that never needed to come out. Then there's dry brushing. When you run a plastic brush through fine, dry hair, especially in winter, you generate static electricity. Static is what makes every strand repel the one next to it and lift away from your head. That is puff. That is the frizzy cloud you fight all afternoon. You are literally charging your hair up to float. Here's the fix, and it's an easy one. Use a wide-tooth comb, not a brush, and always start at the ends. Work out the tangles down at the bottom
Brushing
first,
wet hair roughly
then move on
causes
an inch at a
breakage.
time as the knots
Dry brushing
release.
creates static
Never
and
start at the
frizz.
top and
Start at the
drag
ends
down.
and work up.
Even better when
Use a
there's still
wide-tooth
conditioner
comb
in
on
your hair
wet,
in the
conditioned
shower.
hair.
Run your fingers or that wide-tooth comb through it then, while the conditioner gives your hair slip and protection. Do this and you will watch the amount of hair on your comb drop within a couple of weeks. Less breakage, less static, less puff. We're halfway there, and here's something important. You could do everything right so far and still undo all of it with the next mistake, because this is the one that happens with heat, and heat is where fine hair either gets rescued or gets ruined. Number 2, the blow dryer. Number 2, stop blasting your hair with high heat and pointing the dryer straight down. 2 mistakes, 1 tool, and together they do real damage to fine hair. First, the heat itself. Aging hair has a thinner, more porous, more compromised cuticle than it used to, which means heat damage shows up faster and rougher than it would have 20 years ago. Cranking your dryer to its hottest setting boils the moisture right out of the strand, and we already know what dry hair does. It puffs and it frizzes. Second, the direction. When you point that nozzle down at your roots and dry them flat against your scalp, you lock in exactly the opposite of what fine hair needs. Flat, lifeless roots on top and dry, swollen ends below. You've flattened the part you wanted full and puffed the part you wanted smooth. Here is what actually works. Turn the heat down to medium, never the highest setting, and never skip a heat protectant. A lightweight heat protectant spray takes 15 seconds and is the single difference between glossy ends and brittle frizzy ones 6 months from now. Then, to build fullness where you actually want it, tip your head forward and dry the roots first with the airflow pointing up and away from the scalp, not down into it. Get the roots lifted and dry, and only then smooth the ends with the nozzle pointing down the strand to close the cuticle flat. Cool shot at the end if your dryer has one. That seals everything smooth and locks the shape in. And now we're at number 1. This is the mistake I promised you at the very beginning, the one that decides whether every other fix on this list actually holds or quietly falls apart by the afternoon. If you only change one thing after today, I want it to be this. So, give me your full attention for 1 more minute. Number 1, the moisture. Number 1, stop skipping moisture and stop conditioning the wrong way. This is the mistake that ties this entire video together, because remember the very first thing I told you. Fine hair puffs because it is dry. Dryness is the root of every single problem on this list. So the one habit that undoes all your good work is failing to put moisture back and put it back in the right place. 2 things go wrong here. The first is women with fine hair skip conditioner entirely, terrified it will weigh their hair down and make it flat. So they wash the moisture out and never put any back, and their hair frizzes up dry all day long. The second is the opposite. Women who do condition slather it right at the roots, where it makes fine hair limp and greasy within an hour. Both are wrong. Here is the rule, and it's the most important sentence in this whole video. Conditioner and any leave-in moisture go on the mid-lengths and the ends only. Your roots stay clean and light. The ends, which are the oldest, driest, most damaged part of your hair, are exactly where the moisture belongs. And add one product your routine is probably missing: a lightweight leave-in conditioner or a few drops of a light hair oil, smoothed only through the bottom 2/3 of your hair after washing. That thin layer of moisture lies the cuticle down flat, weighs the frizz out of the ends, and gives you smooth, controlled fullness instead of a dry, floating puff. This is the step that makes the shampoo change, the towel change, the comb, and the dryer all finally hold. Skip it and the dryness creeps right back in by afternoon. Keep it and your hair stays calm from morning until night. So let's bring all 5 together, because here is the truth underneath everything we just covered. Your hair very likely is not thinner than it should be, and it is not falling out the way you fear. It has simply gone dry with the years, and it's being handled every morning in a way that dries it further, breaks it, and charges it up to float. The volumizing shampoo strips
On the left,
it.
dry
The rough
and frizzy
towel
silver
breaks it.
hair.
The
On the
wrong
root,
brush
smooth,
snaps it
full,
and puffs
and
it.
lifted.
The hot dryer
See the
parches
difference?
it.
A complete
And skipping
transformation.
moisture leaves it with nothing to lie flat. Every one of those mistakes feeds the next. Fix them in order, all 5 working together, and the change is genuinely surprising. Same head of hair, same number of strands, completely different result. Smoother, calmer, fuller through the middle, and lifted at the root where you want it. Not because anything grew back overnight, but because you finally stopped working against your own hair and started working with it. Now I want to hear from you. Of these 5, which one were you doing without even realizing it? The volumizing shampoo? The towel? Tell me the number in the comments, because I read every single one, and your answers decide what I cover next.
Hello there, it's so lovely to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Let's make some time to catch up soon. Take care.
That dries fine hair out faster than anything else on this list. You do not want to miss that one. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the very next video.